Hello, happy Friday everyone. How is everyone doing? I know that I must be the only person doing a live on Friday night. But I just wanted to came up here and see if there is anyone who have any questions. I was meant to do the Q&A for the creatine post that I made. I actually got a lot of questions about creatine, and I did really wanted to get into those Q&As. However, I think I'm gonna leave it for another day of the week in which there is gonna be more people connected. But it's Friday night. Most of you are already finishing work and might be looking forward for the weekend. Might also be looking forward for some drinks and some nice dinners out. So I just came here to remind you that you have unlimited permission to eat and drink as much as you want. However, your actions will be reflected in the results that you will get with your fitness journey. Right now, I am on my way, on my gym clothes, because this is how I roll. But I'm also on my way to see one of my very close friends. We're actually gonna meet for a Italian style dinner, in which there is definitely gonna be some pasta, some wine, some dessert that I have here. So this is a pastry of ricotta and figgy and walnuts. I bought it small, so we have enough for 4 people just to taste it. But basically, I just want to show you that it doesn't mean that because you are in X, Y, or Z goal with your fitness, you should just go and take the all or nothing approach, as that is a mentality that is not gonna take you very far. Like, you can only sustain the all or nothing approach for certain amount of time, and people who takes this approach are very likely to then bounce back into the old habits, not learning anything about how to control those habits so they can actually use them on their favor instead of having to run away from them all the time. So just a reminder that anything that implies any restriction, unless of course you have any underlying health conditions and you definitely have to remove whatever it is that you have to remove from your diet, then go ahead and do it. But if it's something that you're doing based on, first, anyone on internet telling you to do so in order to get X result faster, or second, if you're doing it because your friend is doing it and it's working well for your friend, or third, if you're doing it because you just want to give it a go. Then I'm just here telling you that those approaches that reinforces restriction or almost taking you away from what you normally enjoy, and expecting from you to have a 360-degree change in your behaviors is something that is not gonna you're not gonna learn much from it. Because yes, one thing is, for example, say let's not buy chocolate, so you wouldn't have chocolates in the house, and like this I don't need chocolate, yeah. So yes, that might work for you, like I know Mateo uses it, so it might work with regards like the amount of chocolate that you eat in every day, because by not having the chocolate at home this available all the time, you might not eat that much. However, that's not doing anything with regards to teaching you how to behave around that particular food that you cannot seem to control yourself when it's around. So I have been I have advised before people not to get those things that they seem to be indulging on, or not to have them available all the time, and I still believe that at least during the weekdays, for example, if you are in the office, there is no need to have a jar of cookies, because in the office you're gonna get bored, and very likely that boredom is gonna get you to eat those cookies, because of course those cookies are gonna be always there calling your name. Instead, so that is one approach, yeah? But that's not the solution to the approach, because as I'm saying, like, you will not always be in the environment in which you will not have that thing that is triggering you around you. And if you haven't learned how to behave around that specific food that is triggering you, then you will always have to hide away from that food, and I don't believe that is actually achievable. It's like, for example, okay, another thing is different when it's alcohol and people has already developed problem with alcohol. Then you will have to take the all or nothing approach, because these people cannot just simply stop at 1 cup of alcohol, and they know that if they start, they might not end up well. So in that case, they might go through a period of abstinence, and then once they decide, of course, if they don't have serious problems with alcoholism, they're just trying to cut down the amount of alcohol they take, then they can start to reintroduce it back into their diet later on, because anyway their tolerance is gonna drop down, and so you're gonna feel the same effects that you feel with a whole bottle of alcohol with now just 1 glass. Now, when, for example, when someone decides to take gluten, dairy, and all the most common food groups that we all know that most of the people tends to be allergic to or intolerant to, where is the mistake happening? So the mistake is happening when you first approach this kind of elimination diet without any extra guide. And I know that in UK, for example, if you go to the GP and you say, I have an IBS symptoms, very likely they're just going to write down in a paper, follow the FODMAP diet, which is one of the hardest diets to follow, because first they exclude almost everything that you can eat, or almost everything that people enjoy. And second, is a diet that has to be really followed up by a dietitian or a nutritionist, because the idea with this diet is not only to get it's not to get those groups of foods completely out of your diet forever, but taking them from your diet for a while and then start to reintroduce group by group, just so you understand which is the group that is actually playing up with you. And once you understand which is the group that is playing up with you, the idea is not for you to completely take it out of your diet, because that will actually create more intolerance to it, because your guts will just not get used to break down that nutrient down ever again, just because you're not feeding your guts with the bacteria that needs to break down that nutrient, or that that nutrient, let's say. I forgot the word in English, yeah? The same happened when people decide is gluten and dairy, because we know that the demon gluten and the demon dairy, and I need to take them out of my diet. No, you might have to take them for a while, but the key of the success, and I don't think you guys are listening, it's too noisy, the key of the success on any of these things is trying to first understand how your body feels when you eliminate these foods, and understand how your body feels when you start to reintroduce those foods. But the most important part of this process is reintroducing those food bags. And I did it in the past. I have been away from gluten and dairy and carbs and a lot of foods that the fitness industry call like the ones that will make you fat, not understanding that actually first I didn't have the need for it, because my body wasn't showing any signals that I needed to take them off my diet. And second, I just make my life harder, because whatever I do, I was doing, I never seemed to find anything that I could enjoy and fit into my diet. So long story short, the stress that you cause yourself around those foods is going to be higher than the actual effects that these foods will have on you. So I will leave you there just because I just got annoyed with the noise in this car. And I hope you practice some of these tips for the weekend. So each weekend, let's not just throw the house out of the window, but allow yourself some slack and some enjoyment. Those are my words to you. See you later, and thank you for watching. Bye bye.